All righty, Drew, thanks for setting this up. Good morning and good afternoon, everybody. Tim Slavin here at TheShareGroup. We're excited to have a guest speaker who's going to talk to us about really the ins and outs of email marketing for real estate today in 2026. TheShareGroup, as you know, is a provider of information services for real estate, brokers, investors, timeshare. And one of the things that we've always had a challenge with ourselves is how do we lead our clients to best practices around the utilization of the data? The data is only as effective as the results that you can derive from that. So, in between finding good leads, people that you should be talking to that have a high propensity to list, we want to help always drive our clients to the best practices that turn those names into conversations, into appointments, into listings, and then, the holy grail, gross commission income, is where we're going together. So we've had lots of leading real estate coaches and agents in our webinar chatting about the outreach, the script, cadence, about direct contact, high volume prospecting to these leads. And now we're going to talk about something you can do autonomously, programmatically, and actually almost perfectly with not as much time as cold calling requires, and that's through email marketing. So that's where David Jenkins is our expert today. He's a full stack marketer. I'm going to lean on my notes here. He founded his firm. It's called FieldNote. He's based in Toronto. I'm curious about the molecular science degree. That means that he has a scientific approach, hopefully, to the inputs and outputs of the marketing process that he's going to talk to us about. His experience was founded at a company called Cash House Buyer, where he ran marketing there for 5 years. So we all have a lot to learn because nobody shows up and says, David, we're killing it with email. I don't think you can help, but give it a try. It's usually, man, we need to do a lot better. We have names, we have emails, but how can we get better results? We don't want to overwhelm people. God, there's so much to it that just didn't exist because the technology has gotten so much more, well, it's more intuitive, but it's also more invasive. So there's more data, more analytics, more options available to everybody. And we're talking about how do we go from that name on the page to an email that's going to go, this is the one I'm not going to opt out of. I like what this realtor has to say. And in fact, when I'm going to reach out, this is the person I want to talk to. That's really our target. I think, David, you can help us get there. Is that about right?
Absolutely. Yep, you hit it bang on there.
Perfect. Thanks for joining us, David.
Thanks for coming. Thanks for having me, Tim. I'm excited to do this. So let's kick it off. Today on this webinar, it isn't about hype. It isn't about hacks. It's about putting a simple structure around what happens after you get a list. I'm going to walk you through a 30-day follow-up system that works with targeted leads, including the leads from the share group, and helps turn them into real conversations over time. Now, this is very practical. You're going to see exactly what type of content to send, when to send it, and how to tell if it's working. Now, whether you choose to do it yourself or have someone run it for you, the goal is the same. Have a system that you can stick to. So let's start off with a simple idea here. And that idea is to think about leads as fuel. I talk to a lot of agents and a lot of brokers, and most agents think that they have a lead problem. It feels like the norm in the industry where everybody's kind of chasing a scratchy lotto ticket looking for a winner. But in reality, they don't have a lead problem. They have a systems problem. Amazing, segmented, targeted new leads are literally at your fingertips through a lot of brokers, through your teams, through the share group. But even the best fuel, targeted leads in this case, needs an engine to run. And follow-up is what activates it. It's one of the most efficient engines that you can build as an agent with one of the best ROIs. Most agents aren't lead poor. They're follow-up inconsistent. And I totally get it. Warm follow-up can be fine. You're going back and forth. You're having conversations. You can see the commissions check at the end of the tunnel. But cold prospecting, everybody knows that's a grind. When you try something over and you don't get a reply, you start thinking, is this really worth doing? Is this worth my time? It's so easy to assume that it didn't work even when it just needed more time to go. So today I want to help you change that mindset by not only showing you how to build, but giving you the keys to a lead follow-up engine that actually activates the leads you have. So quick poll, which of the following do you have or use? Check all that apply. So do you have some FSBO leads, expired leads? Have you purchased a list before? Do you have a sphere of influence or database with contacts ready to go? And do you have an email follow-up system that consistently reaches out? All right. Things across the board. I love to see that everybody has a sphere of influence and database contacts. That's amazing. That most people have purchased leads, some expired, some FISBO, and 2/5. It's more than I thought have a email outreach system that consistently does it. It's 50%, dude. That's great. Perfect. Well, hopefully I can help you guys level that up. And for those that don't have a system, we can show you the system that works. So before we get into the system itself, I want to explain why email is one of the most slept on lead channels, in my opinion. Well, email is the only marketing channel that you actually own. No platform can wake up and decide to take it away from you. And it's not controlled by algorithms like Facebook or Google. Your reach doesn't disappear because a platform changes their priorities. It's also super personal. When done correctly, emails land in someone's inbox next to real messages from their friends and family. And it consistently shows a $30 to $40 ROI for every dollar spent if you have it set up correctly. Now, because email compounds over time, especially if you're growing your database. Now, for agents specifically, email works because you're relationship based, you sell on trust, and timing matters more than volume. Now, email isn't fast money, it's leverage. And it works best when it's treated like an infrastructure, not a single blast. So let me tell you why most follow-up fails. It's because it's intense, not intentional. Now, most agents follow up hard for 7 to 14 days, especially after going to a conference or taking a course when they're energized. And then they stop. That's just like one heartbeat going on here rather than the steady rhythm. And again, most agents don't stop email because the leads are bad, but because the process creates too much friction and becomes a grind. When you send an email and don't hear anything back, silence doesn't mean that the person isn't interested. Silence without unsubscribing usually means one of two things. Either not yet, but they want you to keep sending, even though they're not overtly saying it, or they didn't see it. And the good news is both are fixable, and I'm going to tell you exactly how later on. Now, when you keep that steady rhythm going, it does something special. It creates that familiarity, and familiarity compounds over time. So another quick poll for everybody. How long do you usually follow up with new leads for? Less than a week, 7 to 14 days, 30 days or more? I don't really have a system. I love it. I see a couple 30 days or more. That's great. A few 7 to 14 days. And again, I totally understand where you're coming from there. Some less than a week, and I get it too. It's, you have other things that you need to do, other priorities that come up, and this kind of cold follow-up goes into the next week pile, which goes into the next month pile, which just starts collecting dust. Today, I'm going to show you the 30-day framework to not only work new leads, but also revive leads in your database. Now, this isn't a copywriting lesson. It's strategic about structure that creates results. Now, think of this like a 30-day observation window. We're not forcing outcomes. We're letting timing reveal itself. And in 30 days, it isn't the finish line. It's the first window where the timing starts working for you. So we're going to be approaching this week by week, with every week having a clear job and every touch creating a signal. So Tim, another question for you. When agents give follow-up enough time, how do you see the results change?
When agents do what?
When they give follow-up enough time, when they follow up.
I think that we have to assume that they had high intent when they fill out the form and they're distracted and preoccupied by something in the near term. It's an unsolved problem, and we will, continue to follow up with them until they kick us out or answer us. So that's been our approach.
Love it. I love the buy or die approach, right? Nothing's worse than a maybe. So let's jump right into, actually, before we talk about timing or what to send, we need to talk about segments. And this entire system exists to move people from one stage to the next. When you change your mindset from looking for who's ready to buy or sell today, and just zoom out a bit, looking at who's moving from one stage to the next, you're going to see a lot more action and a lot more wins. So real quick, what do each of these segments actually mean? Well, cold, as the name implies, they haven't opened anything from you. They haven't clicked anything from you. They haven't replied from anything from you. True cold leads. Engaged leads is our middle segment here. They've opened something in the past 90 days. They've clicked something in the past 90 days, which are all passive signals to let you know that they are engaged with you. And warm, they've replied to an email, they've booked a call, or had some sort of direct interaction. This is your sphere of influence. This is where we're pushing everybody to. And it doesn't matter what CRM you're using, but in follow-up bots, for example, you can easily create filters for each of these. And segments tell you what's happening, not what to send next. So with these 3 core segments, everybody should be starting with. What I love about the ShareGroups leads is that they're actually targeted and intentional. They're not random traffic, but they just don't know you yet. So let's sit here. I like to think of them as unintroduced. They're better than cold, but not engaged yet. And again, this system is specifically built for moving any leads from cold to warm. You just get a head start with the ShareGroup leads. Okay.
David, I got a quick question.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, hit me, Drew.
As far as knowing if somebody opens or clicks your email,
Yes.
I would assume you recommend using some platform to send email as opposed to just sending through your Outlook, because you don't know if somebody opens or clicks.
Absolutely. Right? If you're using, Gmail is my default platform, and there are Gmail plugins that you can use, like Yesware, or like I think Boomerang now has it too, which will tell you opens and clicks when sending from within Gmail. But correct. Ultimately, I would approach this from using a CRM, from using MailChimp, from using something that is centralizing and sending your emails on bulk for you.
Gotcha. Thanks.
Great. Okay, so we understand how the system's going to work, moving people through the segments from cold to warm. Let's now take a look at what's going to happen each week. Now, week 1 isn't about a conversion. We're not hoping to pull that slot machine and get 3 cherries. It's about orientation, and we're collecting signal. Once again, that's the bottom line here. We're looking for signal everywhere we go. So in this system, every single person stays in it for the 30-day follow-up unless they reply or opt out. Day 1 is going to set the context and permission. Because the lead hasn't heard from you before, the subject line of the first email does a lot of heavy lifting. So you're going to want to get noticed and opened. That's engagement. Then for your second message on day 4, you're going to want to send a short human nudge. Again, no pitch, no pressure, just a friendly human nudge. Again, you're sorting, not selling. Now, just in this, you might be thinking, okay, Dave, show me examples of this. I'm not going to dive into exactly what to say in each message here, but I have a free guide that outlines exactly what to say, what not to say, that you can download at the end. So if you're thinking, give me more there, I've got you covered. You just need to wait to the end to get it. Okay, week 2. The value here is in practical education. So you want to give something that resonates, but isn't a novel to read, and isn't a real deep dive. Not too long, not theoretical. Now, the perfect thing that you could give is a free guide or a lead magnet. And its purpose, once again, is to create a signal, not to educate forever. You're looking for that click, and the click tells us who's leaning in. Okay, so what kind of guide should I put together? Well, let me ask you, what are some common questions that you're hearing from your network? And one of my clients mentioned that there's a ton of uncertainty in the world, clearly. So he wanted something that would help provide some clarity. This guide isn't, and it's the how to get clarity in uncertain times. It's not meant to convince everybody. It's meant to surface the few who are ready to say, look, things are uncertain, not sure if buying or selling is right for everybody. But if you are in the market, if you need to move somewhere else, if you need to upsize or downsize, there could be an opportunity there. And that's what this guide is showing. And you can create any type of guide for any type of leads you want. And I'm including some prompts in that in the free download. That's going to make it even easier for you. So another poll question, do you currently send anything of value after your first contact? So this could be, again, a report, a guide, anything else other than just a simple email. Yes, great. All right, a couple yeses, a couple nos. But yeah, sending something of value, super important here. And it's really exciting because you can really come up with anything these days. And AI can help you clean it up and put it together, even if you're not a writer, even if you're not a designer. You have the hard part to get, and that's feedback from your network. It's just about taking that feedback and giving them something that they can then go and use.
Can you share any text copy ideas that you've heard other realtors doing at these different stages?
So yeah, all of that is included in the guide, but in the free playbook at the end. But if we go back just for the guide, for example, some other examples that agents have used in the past are, the home seller's roadmap, the downsizing guide, upsizing, and basically any type of lead that you're looking for. You keep the emails super short, keep them plain text, and I'm going to mention that at the end too. But yeah, I can share some other examples afterwards of some other reports that we've used. But to get the most impact out of the report, you want it to be local, you want it to be relevant, you want it to be in your voice for your type of leads. So using something generic isn't going to resonate. So that's why I'd recommend coming up with something unique to your neighborhood and what type of clients you're looking for. Again, whether it's distressed sellers, divorce, downsizing, all these different things, you can come up with it. Now on to week 3. Week 3 is intentionally boring. And that's actually a good thing. This is where most agents get tempted to change things up, to escalate, to pitch harder. And that's usually a mistake. You're still sending 2 light touch points, same tone, same voice, no new offer, no escalation. The message stays the same. And at this stage, everyone is still in the system unless they've replied or opted out. Familiarity only works if it's consistent. So we're not overreacting. We're just tagging and observing. So the content here, once again, is simple and human. Things like a quick market observation, something buyers or sellers are noticing right now, even a short story about your week, or just a 1-sentence reminder to let them know that you're there if they need you. Don't get too clever, nothing too urgent, just presence. Tim, tell me, when leads recognize an agent's name, how does that change the response of outreach or a cold call? If they
Yeah, it's amazing to have them have the first conversation and then have like a callback on their names that we're talking about.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, that is fantastic. And we find that just having them receptive to a name that they're familiar with, but nothing else is good enough. Like I remember seeing, but that means you're going to get a short audience and we'll see whether there's a fit. But the name recognition is great. Just have that baked in.
Absolutely. It's so intangible to come up to perceive, but it makes such a big difference. Even if someone isn't even opening your emails, but you're consistently in their inbox, that creates that familiarity and will lower their defense mechanisms and make them more likely to respond to you or answer a phone call from you. Okay, week 4. This is about closing the loop, not trying to force a conversation. Now, there's 3 light touch points here. Each one has a job. The first 2, again, are simple presence touches. Nothing new, nothing urgent, a reminder that you're still there, you're still paying attention. Then comes the final touch, which I call the respectful exit. And again, there's examples of this in the free guide that you can get afterwards. This is the last touch in the 30-day system. Now, we are not done forever with these leads, but our window is closed and this sprint is done. Now, what's powerful about this last touch is that it builds trust, whether they reply to it or not. Sometimes you get a response, sometimes it doesn't, but both are useful outcomes. Now, some examples could be, just using a re-proposal or their first name, or I might be wrong, dot as a subject, or even their street address as a subject. All of those really get high opens when you do them. And again, there's no pressure. You're just giving them control of the situation. Now, after that email, contacts are going to flow naturally into one of 3 places. You're either going to stop because they've opted out completely. You're going to put them into a long-term nurture. Again, maybe just 1 or 2 emails a month, or you're going to add them to your sphere of influence and add them to whatever newsletter you have, whatever cadence and touches you have. So this is basically shaking the tree to know where are you going to sort those leads in your CRM. And you can repeat this process with any list time after time, again, layering in specific segment follow-ups to really try and fold them into your sphere of influence. Does that make sense? This is pretty simple, just 4 weeks. Every week has its goal. And that's how we, move them from cold to warm. Now that's the system. Again, hopefully it's not too daunting from everybody. Handful of emails, some CRM work, some content. But when put together, it's a really powerful system. Now, once your system's in place, there's some optional ways to really amplify it. So in this context, the goal of these campaigns wouldn't be for clicks or conversions. It's for that name recognition. It's for familiarity. So Tim, another question for you. If I needed a personal injury lawyer in your town, do any names come to mind?
No. Well, no, I don't think so.
I know that they always do pretty aggressive marketing. Like I know Celino and Barnes from growing up in Toronto and getting Buffalo TV, they would always come on. I've never been to a personal injury lawyer attorney, but I see their ads everywhere. And next time,
one. I found one. I'm not proud of it. He's a weirdo. Sweet James Bergener.
There you go. And found him because aggressive marketing, because of that familiarity.
Oh yeah, massive marketing. And his wife was on a reality TV show, I believe. Yeah.
Ultimate marketing there. Jeez.
Yeah.
So online, for you as an agent, this could be really cost effective by doing YouTube ads in your area, Google display ads, even Facebook, Instagram. And then if you're looking offline, obviously, billboards, radio, flyers. It could be a ton of different things. So when you do these in conjunction with email, when your email lands, you're not a stranger. They've heard of you. They've seen you somewhere else. And again, these techniques and advanced techniques in amplification should only be implemented once you have a strong follow-up engine in place. So next, if they don't see it, nothing else matters. So now what I'm referring to here is your email deliverability and actually arriving in someone's inbox. Not in the promotions, not in the social, definitely not in spam or junk. If someone doesn't see your email, who cares? The message doesn't matter. And just like in real estate, it's all about location. And the location that you want is the main inbox. So how do you get there? I'm going to give you a few tips here. Well, there's good news and bad news is that there's no silver bullet because every email service provider does things a little differently. But there are a bunch of best practices that, when done together, are guaranteed to improve your chances of landing in the inbox. So here are a few that people can implement today. If you haven't emailed your list in a while, start small. I'm talking 50 to 100 people per day. Just start sending it out regularly, just a small list, just to warm up your domain. If you are emailing regularly, make sure your list is segmented so you're not sending the same thing to everybody. Keep it to around 2,000 to 3,000 contacts per blast. Leave maybe 30 minutes in between. Now, just on this note, I'm working with a client that has 22,000 people on their database. And looking back through their sends, they had been sending it all in one big blast, and their open rate was abysmal. Furthermore, it doesn't tell you anything. If you send 22,000 emails and you get 7% opens, what does that really tell you? So I worked with them. I created some segments of highly engaged people, their sphere of influence, highly engaged, just medium engaged, and then cold, and then sent out segments based on that. And the results were crazy. The sphere of influence, we're getting 46% open rates. The regular engaged people were getting close to 20, 25, and the cold was getting 3-4%. So that tells you a little bit more. You can look at that 7% initially and think, oh, geez, this list is horrible. But then when you look at the segments, you can think, oh, wow, actually, there's a core group of people that are actually really resonating with my messages. And you should rightfully be sending them different messages than the cold list that no one's opening. Another tip is to send to your most engaged contacts first. This signals to the email service providers that you're legitimate. If you're sending to your most engaged people first, they're more likely to open, they're more likely to click, and the email providers give you a green light. Again, last, keep an eye on engagement overall. Like I just mentioned, engagement really matters and you can really learn a lot from it. And I've included some benchmarks in the free download, but in general, you're looking for an open rate between 25 to 40% on a decent list, click rate of 1 to 3%, and 0.5% to 1% of replies. Remember, speed kills trust. Consistency builds it. Next is subdomains and plain text. Does anybody know what a subdomain is? I like to think of them as like a PO box for your main domain. So if my main domain is fieldnote.me, a subdomain could be buy.fieldnote.me. Basically anything that goes ahead of your main domain. So why are they important? Why am I telling you about this technical stuff? Well, your email reputation and where you arrive in someone's inbox is tied to your domain. And so is your SEO and your business as a whole. And when starting something new that could potentially put your domain at risk, you want to protect yourself. And that's exactly what a subdomain does. You're not moving your whole business into that little PO box. You're using it intentionally to leverage your credibility and to build trust, all while protecting your main domain, your main house, your main business. So if for some reason you get flagged for spam, which you shouldn't if you follow this plan, your main domain's still going to be good. It's still going to be protected, and your clients and customers will still receive your emails. Plus, you can spin up new subdomains if you mess up an old one. You may need to warm it up a bit, but you can easily create new ones. So if you're considering doing a lot of emails, that's good to know that you have that option in your back pocket. Now, this is potentially the most important tip that I'm giving today, and it's the style of email. If you're going to remember one thing and implement one thing, it's this: plain text. Something that looks like you actually wrote it and sent it. Even looks like you sent it from your phone. You can put "sent from my iPhone" at the bottom. Not a highly designed template, not a video, just a simple plain text. That's crazy concept, right? Simple works. In fact, I've had clients who have been running newsletters for years, and they gave my emails a shot, and in just 2 months, 4 emails, they're already seeing results that they hadn't gotten from years of those newsletters. Again, no banners, no logos, no templates. You're trying to build a personal relationship with your network, so you want this to feel human, not like a campaign.
Hey, David, we've also found that using less hyperlinks, like don't put a whole bunch of hyperlinks in there, because that will help for it to not get flagged as a spam.
Absolutely. The you're thinking, if you put on your Google email service provider hat for a second, if something has a ton of links in it, is it likely to be a personal message or likely to be spam? Well, if it sees a
Right.
ton and it's sending to someone new, then yeah, that could be spam. So keep it low. Keep it to one maybe link in the email, definitely one in the email, maybe one or two in your signature, or even strip those out too. But 100% true. Less links is better. Okay, here, chocolate and peanut butter, French fries and ketchup, email and calling. Some things just go better together. And actually, the reason I bring this up is because I attended a previous webinar that Tim was putting on, and he had a guest that did cold calling for you. So I just wanted to say that using cold calling, which I'm sure Tim can hook you up with a great deal for, further amplifies your email. When a call happens, it feels like a continuation, like a sign, not like an interruption, not like a stranger coming in their house. The prospect recognizes your name, they recognize your company, and just by seeing you pop up in their inbox can be that little nudge, can be the push to get that ball rolling down that cliff for them to engage on the call and end up doing a deal with you. So if you're using a cold calling partner, this system absolutely makes sense. And if you're not, I'm sure Tim can hook you up with a great deal. So to recap, if you have the leads but aren't getting the results, you need to pair them with a system that actually works them, regardless of how you're feeling day to day. Now, if you get targeted lists from Tim in the TheShareGroup, or you have your own database that's been collecting dust, you can use this process for 30 days and see results. First, you're going to start by creating segments in your CRM. Start with 3 if you don't have any: cold, engaged, and warm, or sphere of influence. Whatever you want to name them, it's up to you. If you have even more segments, even better. But that's what I would start with as a core. Then write your content. Make sure it sounds personal. It sounds like you. It sounds human. It provides value. Again, I'm going to give you prompts that I use to create an avatar for my clients, which captures what's important to them, and as well as prompts to help you create high converting content. With your content written, it's time to send it. Add those dates to your calendar. Schedule them in your day, schedule them in advance, and send them out, committing to the timeline. For this to work, you need to be religious about it, and you can't miss a send. Keep an eye on open rates. Look who's clicking, look who's engaging. Make sure you're only sending a few emails at a time for brand new accounts, less than 100. No more than 2,000 to 3,000 for established ones, just staggering it out throughout the day. And use a subdomain if possible to make sure your emails are plain text. So if you are ready to take things to the next level, layer in some paid ads, online or off, up to you. Then watch the results come in when you stick with the system. So here is the cheat sheet. If this resonated, scan this QR code. Drew, if you can drop that link in the chat as well, it's going to take you to the opt-in page here. This download, I believe it's 17 pages long. This is giving you the full system that we walked through today. The 30-day cadence, segmentation rules, deliverability and warm-up checklists, the AI writing prompts that you can use to create local human emails, and a lot more. After looking at what was there, I was thinking we should charge people for this, but I hope you get some value out of it. Check it out. And I'm confident that if you took the time today, everyone here, to attend, you can implement everything there yourself. There's no question about it. And if you do, and if you stay consistent, you're going to see the results coming 30, 60 days down the line. This is the exact structure I use, and it works so long as you run it and stick with it. And once you understand the system, there's really 2 paths here. One is to build it and run it yourself using what you just downloaded. Again, if you've got the time, if you've got the discipline, or the help, that actually absolutely works. The other is to have a system set up and run for you. Now, my company, FieldNote, offers the FieldNote Core product, and this is a simple, no-brainer version of that. We handle your segmentation, writing, sending, monitoring for just $99 a month with a one-time setup fee, depending on your list size. And everything is done and sent from your CRM. So there's no new places to log into. Replies come from you, and emails come from you, and replies come right back to you. Now, separately, if you like the 30-day and 60-day thing, I also work closely with a very small number of agents on customized strategy and campaigns. Like you saw, it's a bit more of an involved process. And because of that, I'm just opening up 2 more spots for agents to work with right now. Both of these are completely optional. The important part is that you now have a system that you can stick to and the option to get it done for you. Again, you don't need more leads, or once you run the system and you've used it, then you need more leads. But ultimately, you need a system that works even when motivation drops, that works 24/7. That's how lists turn into conversations, turn into your sphere of influence, and your sphere of influence turns into commissions. All right, that's me. I hope everyone got some value out of this. happy to answer any questions that we got here.
I mean, I didn't know that was your offer, David. So I was at a local steakhouse where their ribeye was $85. And yeah, it's a nicer place, but I don't see a steak being worth $85. I do see somebody helping me do emails being worth $99 a month though. So how much time am I spending with you and on my own on top of that small investment?
Yeah, so this is completely hands-on or hands-off, completely up to you. Some clients
Okay.
like to be really involved. We'll write the content. They can jump in and they can make small changes. Others just set it and forget it. They trust the content that goes out after seeing a couple of them. You get plenty of time to review the content and work closely with me and my team. But I'd say it's less than an hour, maybe 2 a month to get things done. Once it's up and running, again, it's like clockwork. We write it, we send it, we analyze it, work with people to understand what kind of leads they're looking for, and then try and get them the best results possible. I see a comment from Adrienne, who is a client. Thank you, Adrienne. I'm seeing great results from the emails he's sending for me so far. Thank you so much.
Nice. Love to hear that.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah, it's been great. And I'm the follow-up with clients, who's interested and who might be looking to do something. So you're not kind of reaching out to them blindly. It's been really good.
amazing. I love it. Like, again, I think writing, sending, scheduling, all that technical stuff for agents probably isn't your highest best use of time. What I would recommend is, closing deals, meeting new people, adding them to your database, doing open houses. There's a million other things that you probably rather do and should do versus just staying in touch with your database. And that's what I want to do for you, to take it off your plate. A great question from Kelly here. What's a realistic number of contacts for this to work well? Kelly, I would say you would see results from this with a database of around 150 to 200. That's in and around the average that I've seen for a lot of agents. If you have 500 plus, no brainer, you're going to see some. And again, agents on the completely other end of the spectrum with 10,000 or 22,000 leads, yeah, this is an absolute no-brainer from them. But if you just need to top up your database, I got just the guy for you to talk to. And, Tim can help you here. All right, Chase, is having a system like FUB more ideal instead of just a generic email-only system? Things like Flowdesk. So Chase, the best system is one that you'll actually use. A lot of my clients use FUB, and I think it's pretty good overall for your segmentation. If we're looking at all sorts of CRMs, it skews on the higher end and the better ones. But again, if you're using it, if it's working for you, that is the best system for you. If you have something that is your CRM, that can send the emails out, that can send text messages out, that's even better. Personally, I like Go High Level because you can build landing pages and websites and email automation and follow-up all within one system, and they all link together. But there's no right or wrong answer here. I hope that answers your question. And another one from Kelly, do you update lists as names and email addresses are being added? Yeah, so Kelly, we'd work with you to create those smart lists for you. So depending on your CRM, if you have a shared CRM with other people, I would mail to your pond or your assigned contacts. And then as you are adding them to your pond, they would be updated and we would continue mailing to them as well. Does that make sense? Adrian's asking if this is the seminar being recorded. Drew, I believe it is, right?
Yep. We'll send everyone a link to your toolkit and the video once we'll have that up probably tomorrow.
Perfect. And again, tackle that toolkit, check it out. My team and I put a lot of time into it. I think there's a ton of value there. And if you have the time and energy to focus on doing it, that has everything you need to get started with this. And you will see results if you stick with it. If you don't have the time and you'd rather, work with me and my team, let's have a chat. I feel like I'm a horrible sales rep in that I'm not high pressure enough. And I just want to provide everyone with some value. I want to give you the system that works for you, that helps you achieve your goals.
That's hilarious.
To take it off your plate.
How many people are looking for more high pressure sales approaches from their advisors? Not really. I think you're spot on.
Thanks, Tim.
I think we've done what we set out to do today, in that you have teased us on how our business could be changed in the next couple of weeks. And this business really is about creating productive funnels. And if you leave any channel out, you'll just miss out on deals, because the downsizers are going to answer their phone, and the younger downsizers, let's say born in the 50s and the 60s, are going to be very comfortable with the email outreach, and certainly younger than that. So you're going to find new ways of creating leads. Something that rarely happens but can be done is on our map, If you go in to shop.theshare.group and you go into the map, there's an advanced options tab. And so why don't I just pull this up real quick and share this. Thanks everybody for joining. I really appreciate you being here. You're probably all familiar with our map, but this advanced options, what I would encourage you to do is take a broader area, and I can provide you all of the counts in a county so that you can see all the records by zip code. But about 25% of our records are going to have an email. So these downsizers, 1,800, I'm going to have, well, about 30%. So that's a good number. 25 to 30% are going to have emails. You can buy email only leads from the share group. The price is no different. The emails by default are provided in every list that you buy. But if you really want to focus on building out a robust email lead generation system like David provided, you might as well expand your territory and grab email only leads and let those do the work, for you in the background. So that's the advanced options on our website. Obviously, anybody, am I sharing the right screen? Did you guys see the map?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. All right, so we can pull that off now. Good. I just wanted to cover that with everybody real quick because it kind of dovetails in what we're doing here. So I encourage you to take advantage of downloading the quick start guide, the how-to, and then after you read the manual, call the guy who wrote it and say, let's get started and do some business together. That's what I would do.
Awesome. Again, thanks for having me. Thanks for coming, everybody. I hope you guys got some value on it. If you need more leads, you know where to go. If you need more email leads, ones with phone numbers, I want to help everybody tackle that and get the most out of it.
And you're going to see a dramatic improvement in the content, quality, and pace of emails from the share group because David's going to start helping us do a better job as well. So we're putting money where our mouth is. All right. Thank you for being here. Come by and see us anytime. Love to chat about your business in your market. David, great job. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thanks, Drew, for setting it up.
Great. Thanks for having me, guys.
All right. Have an awesome January, everybody. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.